It worked. Awesome. Hello. Hey guys. Sherry from the Watering Mouth here. Also Vincent and Moo are here too. As always, I got to give this a minute or two so more people can come in. Notice that this is happening. Hello to who's coming in now. If you're just joining, chat. Let me know who's here. Hi, Caesar. Cesar. Not sure how you pronounce that one. Let me know where you're watching from and how your day's going. As always, I'm just going to wait a couple minutes to get some more people in here. And I got the old furry ball and chains here. Moo and Vincent are, hey Adele, happy to see you, lady. Thanks for joining in. Joanne, hello. Caesar lives near Sacramento. Patty, hello. From New York. Good to see you guys. Some people find this part annoying where you have to kind of just welcome people in and stuff, but it's important. So more people can listen to more of the message live, which I think is fun. Who else do we have here? Okay, I think that's who we've got so far. Little group, another person just jumped in. Who just came in? Say hello to me. Where you're watching from. As you come in, let me know where you're watching from. And how's your Saturday going? It's 2 p.m. here in Las Vegas. We've got beautiful weather, hence the t-shirt, just chilling here. Today I wanted to talk about, okay, I've been wasting some time here for about 2 minutes, so let's get going. It's cold where Patty is. That makes sense, New York. So if you're just joining in, let me know where you're watching from. We are going to be talking today about one trick for mental toughness. So this is mental toughness in anything. You can apply this to anything, what we're going to be talking about. But we are specifically talking about mental toughness in the way that you eat, your diet, so to speak, your diet lifestyle, over the holidays or at any time. So this is going to apply to any time. Hello, Heather. Happy to see you from New Hampshire. It's cold there too, I imagine. So sorry, guys. Vegas is running into its awesome weather now. We paid our dues over the summer with those 110, 115 degree days, and now we're getting the good stuff. So we're going to be talking today about that mental toughness and how do you stay tough with your diet over the holidays or over any challenge that comes up. We always have lots of challenges in life. It can be anything from massive challenges, like someone is very sick and you need to take care of them and things are really thrown off in your world, to tiny little challenges of coming home from work, driving by Dunkin' Donuts and trying to resist, or driving by Starbucks. It's interesting because recently I was driving by Starbucks and I have one near my house. Who doesn't, right? They're everywhere. But it's one that I used to go to a lot. And I was driving and I noticed that I had this just automatic feeling in my mind, I need to stop. And it's interesting because I don't eat at Starbucks anymore. When I'm like off plan, I'll often stop there, right? I might get some very non-nutritarian foods like a croissant or something like that, or some really sugary drink. That's something that used to be a very strong pattern for me in the past. And it was interesting to me as I was driving past Starbucks to go, oh, I have an automatic feeling that I should stop, that I don't need to. I didn't actually want it. So I thought it through and I was like, what would I even get from there? And I realized there was nothing that I wanted from Starbucks, which is really cool because that means that, things have really gotten to a good place for me where I am. But that is something to just show that even if that's a thing you don't want at that place, you still have those signals in your brain that come from old habits, old patterns, that you need to stop. You need to eat this thing. You need to do this thing, whatever it is. And this isn't just food related, right? This can be with a lot of different things that we do. But if we're trying to give something up, we do have these like rivers of neurological patterns that this is an advanced topic, and I'm not I'm not a scientist or anything, but this idea of when we have these habits and we do them for so long, it actually creates a physical pathway in the brain. So as you drive past Starbucks, or as you start to, open the fridge or open this one cupboard or do a thing that you've done many times in your life, it sort of strengthens that pattern a little bit. And over time, that pattern continues to be strengthened and strengthened. And this is a physical thing in your brain. It's not just a thought or whatever. The reason that the thoughts keep coming up is because we actually have created physical neurological pathways in the brain between the neurons. I like to think of it like a river, right? So this river is created with a habit, and the more and more you do the habit, the wider the banks get, the faster that river gets, the more water gets, flowing into it, and it turns into a real raging river of a pattern that you do over time. We got some more people in here. Let me know where you're from and say hi when you get in here. I'd love to just say a quick hello. Heather, she says it's beautiful in 62 in New Hampshire. I stand corrected. I guess it's wonderful. That's perfect weather. I think we're running about 75 today in Vegas, so having some good stuff. So what I was saying was, when we create habits, we actually create a physical pathway in the brain that makes it easier for us to do that action over and over and over again over time. So the hundreds and hundreds of times that I have gone to Starbucks, not lying at all, makes it very difficult for me to slow down that pattern and remove some of that water from that river, right? If we use that river as the metaphor for the patterns that we've created, it starts off as this big raging river. And nowadays, for me, it's just a trickle. It's just a stream. It's something that I don't even have to think about. It's a much smaller pattern. Someday that river for me might completely dry up. But the thing I want to mention is that even if those waters dry up, so to speak, of that river, the banks are still there. The pathway of that, where that water used to go, it's still there. So that habit still has the potential to be strengthened again in the future. So something to keep in mind. I have to remove that hair because that was bugging me. As we strengthen these pathways, as we strengthen these habits in our lives, it can be very difficult to remove those habits. And so today, we're going to be talking a little bit about, well, I'm calling it one trick for mental toughness over the holidays, or any other activity that you're doing, or just in general, going past Starbucks. How do you mentally stay tough and get past that? And then with relation to the holidays, how do you change those patterns of, let's say you're 50 years old. That means you have 45 or 40 years worth of patterns over Christmas of doing the same thing. Holiday events, I love to eat the turkey, or I love to eat that stuffing, or I love the fudge that my aunt makes, or I love these things, right? I have these patterns that I've created, whatever those patterns are for you. For me, I'll tell you my patterns. Julia from the UK, hi, good to see you. Thanks for saying hello. Those patterns over time can be so strong. I'll tell you some of my patterns from the past holidays are stuffing. And I don't like when someone makes homemade stuffing. Hey, Robbie from Idaho, so happy to see you. I like boxed stovetop stuffing. And I have such a pattern with this product over my life that I realized after one holiday season, I don't have to wait to eat this until next year again. I can eat stuffing whenever I want. So I started actually making this terrible boxed processed stuffing just for dinner. And I would just eat the whole box for dinner sometimes, because I am such a, carboholic type thing. Caesar says predetermined meal choices. Okay, so if you're referring to kind of what you have over the holidays all the time, yeah. When we know what's going to come up in the holidays, we know what foods are going to be there. So we have the ability to kind of be excited about it for a long time. And then when it happens, to want to make these choices. But how do we actually, or maybe you were saying predetermined meal choices in planning ahead and not making those choices again. So we're going to talk about this a lot, Caesar, in just a few minutes here. So yeah, you have these sort of neurological pathways, these habits of things you do every holiday. Before the holidays come up, you start to think about these habits and, oh, this is going to be great, and so is going to make this, and you start to think ahead of time what is going to be happening. over this next few months. But it's hard because we all have also, we may be looking forward to these things, but we also, on the other hand, have sort of dread about what it's going to be like. The fact that we want to have a different holiday this year. We want to have a different outcome. We want to have a different feeling when January rolls around. We want to feel successful. So there's this push and pull of what's probably going to happen. We consider what's probably going to happen if we look at our past history, and then what we actually want to happen, like deep down in our soul, what do we want to happen, right? So let me just back up a sec. The reason I'm talking about this specific topic is because it's the right time to talk about it. It is October. It is right before the holiday season starts up. And I think October is the best time to refocus and really just focus on what your goal is, because at least if you're in the US, Halloween is can be a very difficult season for us, which is October 31st. So if you hit what you're doing before October and you start to get into this mindset beforehand, you're going to hit before all of that candy shows up, before all of that comes home with your kids and is hanging out at the house and that kind of stuff. So we want to be thinking about this early. So that's why I'm giving you this topic now, because I think now October is the right time to think about it. Also, I want to mention that it's never too late to think about it. So if it's December 24th, you can still be thinking about this. You can still be kind of making this choice for yourself. So just consider that. The other reason I'm mentioning this now is because I'm putting on a live holiday workshop really soon. It's going to be starting in not this coming weekend, but the weekend after on the 28th. It's going to be a 4-part workshop, 1 hour per week. So it's kind of going to be like going to school. And the reason I'm doing it in this way is because I want to give you a lot of like a little neurological pathway yourself, where you are going to get information trickled out over 4 weeks. It's going to sort of permeate your head. It's going to permeate kind of what you do and your thoughts, and it's going to create a little pattern for you. I'm putting on this holiday workshop because I want you to have a successful holiday this year, instead of having to go through the next few months of making choices that maybe you don't love and then feeling worse about things at the end of this year and wishing you had done better. And another thing to point out is that we have a siren, we have a fire truck going by. These choices that we're making in this holiday season, I want to just put it in perspective, because if we talk about like middle of October to middle of January, that's 3 months, you guys. 3 months. October to November, December to January. That's 3 full months. 2.5, whatever. That's about a quarter of your life. If you count every single holiday year after year after year, this section of the year is a quarter of your life. That's a long time to be like off plan, to be not doing as well as you want. So I want you to consider that as you're thinking through how your next few months are going to be, because I know from experience that every holiday always ends up being, oh, I'll take care of this afterwards, right? Like this fudge, these brownies, whatever this is right in front of me now. I want this now. I'm going to fix it later, right? That's our mentality of being rewarded right now. But we want to really try to think ahead. So let's talk about this. Now, the workshop is going to be going on, and it's available for purchase now. It is an investment. I want you to be thinking about this like an investment, right? It's as if you were kind of hiring me as a coach for the next 4 weeks to get you into shape for the holidays. So I want you to look at this as something that's like you're kind of going to school a little bit. You want someone to get you through the next few weeks, to get you through the next couple of months. That's what I'm putting on this workshop for, okay? So if you really have this intention to be healthy this year, just to do better than you have before, check out my workshop. I put a link for it in the description of this video. I'm also just going to put it in the comment section right now so you guys can go check it out if you want. Wait, that's not it. Hold on. Let me delete that. That's not the right link. Here it is. I'm putting it on so that you guys can have some support, because there's not a lot of people that talk a lot about doing really well over the holidays. There, I put the link in there so you guys can check it out if you like. As I said, it's going to be 4 weeks long, 1 hour each. It's live. It's going to be like this, where I'm giving you some really amazing strategies. We're going to be doing lots of like actual work, worksheets, cheat sheets. We're going to get to true intentions. We're going to be talking through all of the challenges, how to get over, the issues when you go out to restaurants or you go to a family party, or you have to go to your spouse's party or your work party, or what do you do if there's candy all over the house or whatever it is. So we're going to be going through all of these different things in depth to kind of make sure that you have the support that you need. And the biggest thing about this is that, to me, yeah, it's going to be fantastic information. You're going to be able to come away with amazing information, but it's that accountability of showing up every week and making an investment towards having a better holiday. Okay, so that's the workshop. There's a link for it in the sidebar there. Please check it out. I would love to see you in there. And I'm taking a small group, so it's going to be real intimate, and you'll get your questions answered and things like that too. So, okay. So let's move to, hey guys, Leslie from Philly, good to see you. Let me know where you guys are watching from if you've just come in. So the one trick for mental toughness this holiday season or any time in your life, the one trick that I think is the most important is something we've sort of been talking about, which is it's to make a conscious decision, to make a plan, sort of the same thing here, a conscious decision and a plan of what this is going to be like for you. What is this next few months going to be like for you? Now, I want to just say again, it's not just the holidays, it's any time, right? You're out driving around and you drive past Starbucks, or you drive past a restaurant that's always been a trigger for you, or, you're going to a holiday party, there's going to be that favorite dessert that you love there. There's a choice between saying, I am going to do that, I'm going to be healthy and stick to my goals. I'm going to do this thing. And therefore, all of those choices and temptations that you're going to come across, they're kind of moot, because it's like, I'm not doing that. I'm going to be having a good year this year. There is that choice that needs to be made. And what happens then is if we haven't made that choice, essentially what we're saying is, I'm just going to leave it to chance. I'm going to just show up to that party and hope that I have enough willpower that day to combat that dessert plate or that dessert table, or that big chunk of turkey or whatever it is that we're coming across, or driving past Dunkin' Donuts or whatever it is. Are we going to make the correct choice? We have so much more ability to make the correct choice if we actually say beforehand, here's what I'm doing. So here's what I mean by this. As I was talking about Halloween, October is the best time. Hey, I think your name is Jazay. What a pretty name, from the UK. Good to see you, Jazay. So making this choice beforehand, here's how you do that, okay? So as I was saying, Halloween, October, I think is the best time to do this, because right before the crap hits the fan, so to speak, and you're doing it at a time where your mind is clear. You're not doing it at a time where you're at the holiday party and you have, your willpower is going crazy and how do I do this, right? Do this at a time where your mind is clear, so do it beforehand. So it would be as simple as, next time, I don't know, you're at a place where you're by yourself. Maybe it's in the shower. Maybe you're on the toilet. Maybe you're watching TV by yourself or something. Just take a second. Pause whatever you're watching, or turn off all distractions or whatever, and just take a second, like literally just 10 seconds. Sit there for a sec and go, what do I want my next few months to be like? And figure that out first. Decide first what you want that next few months to be like. If you decide from the bottom of your heart that you want to have a good, healthy next few months, then the next question you ask yourself is, how do I do that? And what am I going to be like this next few months? So after you've decided, yes, I choose to be healthy, I choose to not gain a ton of weight this year, I choose to eat healthful foods, the next natural question is, how am I going to do that? Well, that's by deciding. Okay. So, all right, I've decided that my true goal, because you can think the difference, right? The difference is either I choose to eat all the unhealthful foods that I want. I don't want to resist any of that. I actually want to make that conscious decision. I'm going to have all the turkey I want. I'm going to have all the desserts I want. That's what I want. I want to be bad. I want to be naughty. I actually am going to have that. And it's okay with me if I end up gaining weight. I don't care. That's a choice. That can be your choice this year. That can be your choice. But if you actually can sit there for a sec, quiet everything down, and think truly 100% through that, next couple months, what would that be like if you ate all that stuff, if you did all that, if you gained all that weight, if none of your clothes fit, if every time you put on your clothes, you got frustrated because you can't pull them up, you can't button them well. You consider all these things, all that sickness, that nausea. You think about all those things of how uncomfortable it is to sleep after you've eaten that way. And if you have day after day after day like that, party after party after party, so much alcohol, you drink so many sugary things, you eat so many sugary things, what does that really feel like? You put yourself in that mindset, what is that like? And then you can honestly say, yes, I want that. I'm choosing that this year. Or if after sort of considering that feeling makes you decide, no, I don't want that this year. I've had that so many years before. I know what that feels like. I don't want that again. If you can truly, honestly say from your heart, I don't want that, that's your decision right there. That is your moment where you go, okay, I focused enough. I've given myself enough moments to realize I know exactly what I want, and it's not that sickness. It's not all that bad food or whatever it is. You can do that if you want to. There's no judgment from me. I don't care what you do. This is your life. This is your choice. So if you honestly say, yeah, I do want to eat that food, okay, do it and enjoy the hell out of it. Do it, right? But if you also, you may be watching this video because you don't want that this year. So maybe this year it is the first year where you can say, all right, I'm actually going to make that conscious decision. I have to decide that I'm going to be healthy this year. And in order to do that, you have to do it early and you have to do it before that dessert plate is in front of you, right? So that's what I want you guys to think about. This is the trick to mental toughness. It's making that decision before it happens, making that decision before you get totally tempted and in trouble, right? So it would be like right now, you guys, because it's October 20th at 2:30 p.m. Pacific. We're well ahead of the holidays here. Today would be a good day for you to make this decision. It would be a good day for you to kind of consider this and see what you want. Hey, Marcia from Trinidad. So good to see you. Thanks for joining in. If you are just joining me, let me know where you're from and say hi to me. Okay, so this is the trick for mental toughness, because what this is going to do is once you have just made this decision, it's a different thing than just going through the holidays and winging it. Once you've made the decision, now you're not only going to have this kind of thought in your brain, but when you come across a challenge in the future, like you're at the holiday party, at least you've already decided, no, I don't want that, because I know what that's going to feel like, and you've kind of already relived it. I know what it's going to feel like. No, I'm making this choice. And then if you screw up and you have some fudge or you have some whatever at that party, the chances of you having less, the chances of you making less of a terrible impact on that whole season, much greater. It's going to be a lot easier for you to pull back and do better than you would have, in prior holidays. And that's kind of the difference here. I'm not asking you guys to be perfect, and I'm definitely not going to be perfect either. I'm going to try my best like I do every other day. I'm going to try my best to do my best and eat the best way that I can and keep taking care of myself so that I can feel, still pretty good about myself by the end of that season. But I don't expect myself to be perfect, and you shouldn't either. So that's the trick. I want to also mention another thing that's related to this. So Susan Pierce Thompson of the Bright Line Eating community has been talking about this lately, just because James Clear released his book called Atomic Habits recently. So she's been talking about this, which brought it top of mind for me, because I've been following James Clear for a long time too. And I love his book, by the way. It's amazing. I'll put a link for it in the description in a little bit here. But so James released this book, and he was talking about this thing that actually he's written about before. I love this concept, and I wanted to mention it in this video because I think it fits really well, and it's a great way of thinking of this. So it's the difference between, if you guys are just joining, let me know where you're coming in from. Say hi. Love to hear from you, and thank you for being here. So it's the difference between, it's three things, okay? So this idea of when you go on a diet or when you try to change your lifestyle or anything, if you're a horseback rider or if you're a gymnast or if you like to collect stamps or whatever, it doesn't matter what it is, any activity that you do. And dieting is a really great way of thinking of this because there's three different ways of thinking about how to do it, okay? So these three ways are identity versus habits versus goals. Okay, so Identity versus habits versus goals. Now, we're talking about goals, right? A goal would be, I want to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks because I'm going to a wedding. A habit would be, I'm going to eat more greens with every meal. An identity would be, I'm a nutritarian. Okay, so the difference between these three is that if you're working on a goal, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks. That's a finite thing. It's over in a little while. Sometimes it's a little easier because you actually just have, a set amount of time that you're going to be doing this thing. And once you get it done, cool, I don't have to worry about it anymore, right? But I know that when we decide to lose weight, that's really not what we want. We want to keep that weight off forever. And we need to find a way to do that. So, Joanne, I'm glad you're taking notes. This is all going to be information that's similar in the holiday workshop I'm putting out soon. So, guys, make sure you sign up for that. This is going to be the stuff that gets you through this holiday season with flying colors this year instead of having another one where you feel not so great. Okay? So you've got your goals over here. As I said, they're temporary. It's not, it doesn't feel good to get to a goal. Like, let's say it's the lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks thing, and then you just gain it all back in 2 weeks after the wedding's done or whatever. I've done that so many times. I'm at a weight right now. I'm at 118. For me, that's a super low weight. I've never been at this weight for more than a week or two, but I'm only 5'2", so it makes sense for me to be at this weight. I got hairs like bothering me again. So 118 for me is a really low weight, but I've been here for like a month now, and it hasn't been hard. And I'll explain why in a sec, but this idea of being at something for just a week or two, like I remember I was at 115 for about a week and a half once in my life, right before I moved to Italy for study abroad. And then I met Brett and Attila, and we had a relationship for all that progress is gone. And then at another time, I actually got down to 110, and that lasted for 1 day because I did it using a cleanse, right? I just didn't eat for a few days, and it was, I lost the weight and stuff, but that's not a sustainable way to do it. And I definitely don't recommend cleanses or fasting or things like that if you're just doing it to just quick lose weight and whatever, because that's not sustainable. So that's what I mean when I'm talking about the goals, right? That's how you can use a goal to get somewhere, but it's typically not a long-term type of success. Now let's talk about habits in the middle. I think habits are a little bit better way of doing it, and there's something that habits and goals should be put in place with the identity part. We'll get there in a second. Okay, hold on. Let me get back to habits. Habits are when you actually change something about your behavior. So you say if your goal was I want to eat healthier, then your habit was I'm going to eat greens with every meal. That is a way that you could go about getting to that goal, and it's a way that you could use a habit to maybe lose some weight or get healthy or whatever it is. So I think it's important to do that, but that is not the way to get there long term. That isn't right. So we have to think about long term versus short term, right? So we can get to those goals and we can create those habits on a short term level. But how do we do that for the rest of our life? How do we do it? It's with our identity. Okay, it's by changing our identity. So identity, I am a nutritarian. That's an identity statement, right? A habit statement is I eat greens with every meal. A goal statement is I want to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks. An identity statement is this is who I am. There's nothing else to it. This who I am. I am a nutritarian, or I'm a horseback rider, or I'm a swimmer, or I'm a stamp collector, or I'm African American, or I'm Caucasian, or whatever. It's all the same thing. They're all identity statements. They're all things that are unchangeable. I am a mother. I can never not be a mother. Even if I was just an adopted mother, or even if whatever, you can't change that. That's just who it is. That's just what it is. So these statements that weren't always your life, like I wasn't always a mother, but I am now. I wasn't always a nutritarian, but I am now. Identity. This is your identity, right? So being a nutritarian is something you can take on as an identity. And if you're watching my videos and you're not a nutritarian, like let's say you're just a vegetarian, or you just want to eat more healthy or whatever it is, change that statement for you, right? Change it to a statement that makes sense for you, an identity statement like I eat healthy, right? I eat lots of vegetables, whatever that identity statement is for you. But if it's I'm a nutritarian, which is, the healthiest of the healthy, that's an identity thing. So when you say identity, it's unchangeable. You can't change it. No, one part of that is people often think, oh, I can't call myself a nutritarian because I'm not perfect at it. Because I don't do it like Sherry does, or, I don't do it like Dr. Furman does or whoever. And I understand that concern. And I have videos about this from the past where I've talked about this before. Perfection isn't identity, right? Like that would be like me saying, I can't call myself a mother if I'm not a perfect mother. Do you know what I'm like? Can you see the difference there? Let me know down in the comments, you guys. I want a little conversation here, if you don't mind. Do you understand this idea of you don't have to be a perfect nutritarian to call yourself a nutritarian? Let me know. Do you feel that way? Can you understand that? Like, I don't have to say, I don't have to be a perfect mom in order to be a mom, right? Like, I just am. It's just who I am. So when you think about this, good. Joanne's getting this. Good. When you think about this from this level, then think about this next upcoming holiday season. Do you have to be a perfect nutritarian to still be a nutritarian over the holidays? No, of course not. You can have some mac and cheese. You can have some stovetop stuffing. You can have some fudge, whatever it is. You can also not have some of it, right? Like, it doesn't matter what you do as long as your focus and your identity is based in being a nutritarian and making those choices. Pick it up when you can. Do it when you can, right? So if you go on vacation and you say you only have one nutritarian meal per day while you're on vacation, you get back a week later, you don't feel as good, you want to get back on it, but of course you do because you're a nutritarian. So you get back in that groove afterwards, and there was no lapse in your nutritarianism. You were a nutritarian when you were on vacation, and you're a nutritarian when you came home. But just because you didn't do it perfect for a little while doesn't mean that you stopped being a nutritarian. So to relate this to the holidays then, and any challenge that we have in the future, do your best. Act as if, you were a perfect nutritarian. Act as if you knew that you could actually do it perfectly. Act as if you could. And then when you don't, it's cool. Like, just get back on it when you can. Just keep going. Just keep doing what you can, right? So this kind of relates to it because for the holidays, I think we put too much pressure on ourselves to be perfect. And then we think, oh, since I didn't do well at that party, I might as well just not do well at the other parties too. And it's going to be, whatever. I'll just pick it up when we're done. That's the whole idea here. That's the difference between just a habit or a goal and your identity. If it's in your identity and you are a nutritarian, you're going to act as if you were a nutritarian and you're going to do your best. But I tell you, this year, 2018, you might be like a worse nutritarian than you're going to be in 2020 or in 2021 or whatever year in the future. 2025, it might take you a while to really get this down. But as long as you're working towards that goal, you're going to improve, get better, and be I don't like to use the word better, but you're going to be a more successful nutritarian as you go, and you just keep going. So it's taking some of that pressure off, and it's not doing that all or nothing mentality, which I think that's the most harmful thing we can do on the holidays, is when we just say, oh, screw it, I'm going to, just do whatever I want and kind of, pick it up later. I think that's where we end up doing the most damage over our holiday season, or anything, driving past Starbucks or whatever. One day you end up just going to Starbucks because you couldn't resist. But the next day you keep doing that because you did it the day before. That's when things start to, snowball. And so making it part of your identity that you eat healthfully, or that you're a stamp collector or whatever, just because you didn't collect stamps, over the next month doesn't mean you're not a stamp collector anymore. You know what I mean? Okay. Joanne says, perfect is the enemy of good. That is so true, especially at these times a year. Okay, guys, so that's what I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it, and share it with maybe your friends and family who might have a difficult time over holidays. Marcia says, thanks for the perspective. It really is a work in progress. We tend to beat ourselves up when we have a bad day. It's so true. Now, you just keep going. That's my catchphrase for this lifestyle, for any lifestyles. Just keep going. Just do your best. Keep going. If you don't do so hot at one party, do better at the next party, or try whatever it is, Okay. So to mention again, my holiday workshop is going to be going into all this and a lot more to keep you on track. It's a 4-part workshop, super amazing investment. I know it's going to be super helpful for you guys. So please check that out. There's a link in the comment section. I'm also including a link in the description. So check it out. I would love to see you in there. You're going to have a lot of interaction, and I know you will come out of this holiday season with a lot better feeling about yourself and result this year. So, okay. That's all I got. Appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for sticking around with me on this Saturday afternoon. It's been really fun. I love you guys so much. You're amazing. You've all been with me for so long, and I just appreciate it. So keep watching, keep liking, commenting, subscribing, and share this video with anybody who might be interested. Thanks so much, and I hope to see you guys in the live holiday workshop. So have a good day. Bye. How do I turn this thing off?